Hey, we were flowing, and it just got people, hey, got to flex, get the hell out of here. So you know what? Changeover will be short because your boy, I know Shasky was up late. I was up late. Crosstalk to Steiny and Gooby cut y'all off. Yeah, we want to start our show. So we're going to let you guys start the show early.
By the way, that's not them.
Hi,
that's
Dan.
us.
Categorically.
That's you. So you guys leave early and you hold us hostage.
We're having a little bit of a
hold you hostage?
Yeah. You hang out. You know the deal. You hang out for the whole show if you want. Well, you can leave if you want.
If I'm aroused by the topics.
Now we're here to arouse you.
Yeah.
Well, have a seat.
And yesterday when you went into shutdown mode, that was part of my favorite. That was my favorite moment of the entire day.
You called me for a shot clock violation, and Mark Willard's turning the ball over 4 straight possessions, and it's all good. Play on. Shasky's coming in. Shasky's coming in.
I'm putting Mark on the bench. Mark gets the start.
I'm scoring 50. We might lose by double digits, but I'm going to get mine.
Shasky's pulling the James Harden dribble. And all of a sudden, I wouldn't have a heat check moment. It did. He calls me out on it. By the way, you are listening to 95.7 The Game, kgmz-fm in HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Download the Odyssey app and favorite 95.7 The Game for the best and most up-to-date sports coverage. Don't forget that you can also watch us every single day on our YouTube and Twitch streams. Hello, YouTube. Hello, Twitch. Just so I got to search 95.7 The Game. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel while you are there. Willard and Dibs in the building.
You don't look aroused, Joe.
Are you not aroused anymore?
I'm reworking.
Are you not entertained?
Just chew it and do it.
Seriously. And I'm just, I don't think Bonte appreciates how much hazard that I take. I have to wear a safety helmet in here every single day because the guy's shooting at my dome. I mean, it's crazy.
Hey, man, go hard or go home, baby. Shots are flying. Shots are flying.
By the way, speaking of sports radio, has anybody checked out, especially with the Niners taking on the Cardinals on Monday, has anyone checked out mid-season Hard Knocks at all yet?
Yeah.
Colt McCoy, leader.
You already watched you finally watched the first episode?
I've watched a few, but I just wondered if anybody had seen Cliff Kingsbury talk about sports radio.
And what'd he say?
Oh, yeah, he said, I don't listen to that stuff. My friends tell me all the time.
No, but like the question didn't even get finished. And he was like, no, I don't go there. But I know what they're saying because if I get a bunch of text messages on Monday and be like, are you okay? Is everything? He goes, that's when I know it's bad out there on sports radio. And I'm thinking, in Phoenix?
I hope.
Really? I hope. They get mad at Phoenix, at the Cardinals? Okay, I mean, 4-6 is an improvement.
I'll tell you what, the Cardinals win this game, though. They're back in action, baby.
Are they the big? Or is it the Suns? Like, what's the biggest entity?
Suns are big time.
In Phoenix?
Yeah. I'm asking. I don't know.
Suns
I'm asking you guys.
Suns were the original team there. Suns were the original team. That's their baby.
Even though football's football.
Right now it's the Suns. And by the way, the Arizona Cardinals might as well play in like Colorado as far out as that is. I think it's an hour outside. You think Levi's far?
Glendale.
You think Levi's far?
Yeah, Glendale's like 45.
Easily as far as Santa Clara is from the city.
Probably the same distance. I remember going, the same distance. And it's a hike. And there's nothing in Glendale.
No doubt. Exactly.
There's nothing around that stadium,
so
just like
the Suns
Levi's.
at least play downtown where, there's some action.
I'm aware of that.
The Diamondbacks would be, they were the thing one year when they had Schilling in the big unit, and other than that, they've been a non-factor.
The Suns are the original team there, born in Phoenix. Remember, the Cardinals started off, I believe, in Chicago. Then they moved to St. Louis, and then they changed their name to Phoenix Cardinals, Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, my favorite when he was 1,000-yard back. Well, my cousin lives down there. She went to Tempe, ASU, and she told me that all their friends, because she's been married and got kids down there, everybody's like, I'm a Chicago fan. I'm a Philly fan. I'm a this fan. Because there's so many different people from other parts of the country, and now you can follow those teams from home. Yeah, I just was curious what the biggest team was down there.
It's a little LA light in that way.
Gotcha.
Although even here, I mean that's the West Coast. Like if you've got good weather and you're on the West Coast to a degree, I know the Arizona's not the coast, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's hot. It was 85 yesterday.
People move. Yeah. People move from all over the places. So you're gonna have a bar for every college. You're gonna have a bar for every pro team. And
ASU's pretty fun.
Mill Avenue.
That stadium is cool. Rested up on the hill there with the little mountain thingy or whatever. I like it.
It's not a bad place to go get a drink.
Yeah. No, for a 7 o'clock start game.
Mill Avenue's pretty good.
Oh yeah,
Mill Avenue's not bad.
It's fun.
I love Phoenix.
Scottsdale's sweet too.
Your boy thought he was going to be working in Phoenix for a bit.
Really? Yeah. What up, spring
Thought I was getting the pink slip.
I thought I was going to Tucson.
Oh, you're better off here.
Oh, man. Yeah. Anyway, how you guys doing?
Doing great. Doing great. Figuring out where to start or how do you rank the problems with the Warriors team? Because, you could look at You could look at Clay and his Sir Jack-a-lot inefficiency. You could look at Jordan Poole, and you don't know Jordan Poole. How do you go from 36 one night to a deuce the next night? You could look at JaMychal Green.
19 a game.
Is he really your bench player coming in?
My gosh.
You could look at the defense. You could look at Steve Kerr saying, man, this team they're not even huddling up. You could look at the punch. I mean, you can look at so many different things, but I think where we're going to start, and I don't know how long we'll stay there, but Steph Curry. I mean, can we just appreciate, like, in my lifetime, there was Jerry Rice, where you see him hit the slant, you see him catch the ball after 7 yards, and he's gone, and it's like, that's fun to watch. Barry Bonds, for all of his, whatever, the needle, the cream, the clear, the salve, the rub, whatever, he was fun to watch. He'd come up with the armor, and you knew something was going to happen. Steph Curry, to me, has surpassed both of them in terms of just watchability. Like, when you watch him, it makes you feel good, no matter how long your baby's been crying.
But Dibs, to your point,
is he the best entertainer in sports?
Yes.
He's the best entertainer in sports.
I would say the best entertainer in Bay Area history for me in my lifetime.
I agree with you. And we brought this up a couple years ago, and it was like, okay, in football, even if you're the quarterback per se, you drop back 25 times a game. All right, maybe 5 of those 60.
40 if you're a real football team.
Yeah, but maybe 5 or 6 of those is like a Patrick Mahomes level special.
Sure.
You get 3 or 4 plays a quarter times 80 games times the playoffs from Steph Curry when he's out there. Like, in terms of, if you're a wide receiver, a couple great catches a game. Sure. If you're Justin Jefferson. He had at least, I said to him, 6 finishes around the rim that could be part of his highlight package for his career. But even
his failures, to me, like, he might come across half court and shoot from 38 and miss, and it's like, that was awesome, because we all thought that it might go in. So the fact that his failures are even that awe-inspiring makes him, to me, he's the preeminent in my lifetime, other than Chris Wondolowski. Curry's 2. Wando
he
1.
Missed that
Curry 2.
Russell Bay's not 3.
You can't drag him for that.
USA Soccer's still hurting.
He got in position to make the play, and he didn't make the play. And yes, they would have beaten Belgium. They don't win the World Cup.
I know, but it's a seminal moment in USA Soccer.
Where's he at?
Russell Bayes was a consistent, dominating force. I had him at number 10, Bonte.
No, I'm saying, okay, all right.
Is this how it's going to be between me and you? I thought we had a moment. Before the show.
Hey, like I tell Lubman and Company, if I'm not talking bad about you, then I don't love you.
All right, in that case, I'm feeling love. It's like a Valentine's card.
He's like Draymond. He's got to be a bully. You got to let Bonte be Bonte.
Tough love.
Totally.
Promise you, I'm not even going to go there.
We'll let Bonte cook.
Curry's great. So now where do we go, Mark?
The Kirk comments are wild.
Well, okay, so speaking of comments, did y'all get the chance to read Ramona's article yet on Clay?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Ramona's going to join us in 53 minutes.
Wow,
and,
what a get.
I'm
look at Batson doing work.
Excited to, anyway. For those of you listening, if you have not had a chance to put 20 minutes aside and go read the inner thoughts and the background of where this story has been with Clay.
Wait.
Yep.
You're saying 20 minutes? I don't have 20 minutes.
I know.
These kids, ADD.
Who's got 20 minutes?
4 seconds or I'm out.
Seriously. I sat down. I had to make...
Lee better be good.
I had to make 2 breakfasts in order to get through this article this morning. But it's such a window. It's such a window into everything that's going on. The stuff from Kerr and the stuff from Clay and the stuff from Steph and the stuff from the assistant coaches and the stuff from Clay's dad. And the theme is the same over and over, which is the end. And it doesn't mean it's here now, although it might be. Or it could be a year. Maybe it's 2 years. But we're here at whatever the end is going to be. And I'm glad, Dibs, that you brought up Steph, because I think for most people, even though the article centers around Clay, for most people, that's what this is about. And that's what the Warriors need to sort of figure out, and what we all need to figure out is how can you best make the end kind of work for Steph? Because he is the centerpiece, and he's the one who's still playing well. And so that's what's really tough. If you got to boil this whole thing down to like a push-pull, it's do you do what they were doing, what their plan was, 2 timelines, all the stuff we've said, or is there something, if you feel there's something that can help Steph right now, do you do that? But I don't know that that's out there.
Marky, Dibs talking about he loves Steph Curry. We all do. And you watch every possession, everything. Last night, and I said to him, I was so sad because he's balling, and then he's like slamming the ball, getting the and you're like, dude, he is like not happy. And all I keep thinking about is like, all right, how many more years does he got? How much more can they ask of him to do this kind? I mean, he's not going to drop 50 every night, but like he's exerting a lot, and you're taking it off the back end when you get to this point in your career.
Well, I mean, Bonte, I'm glad you brought.
He's not having fun.
Yeah, you brought up what Kareth said after the game. I mean, have you ever seen a less celebrated 50-point average?
Joyless.
I mean,
Antoine Jameson's
Antoine
Jameson's 250s.
Back to back.
We celebrated 51. For 2 decades.
Right.
And they lost.
Yeah, we still are.
Right.
By the way, the Warriors now 8-3 when Steph drops 50 or more. The first loss was famously Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
2 years ago, he hung 57 on Denver.
That's right.
In a loss. And
back to back.
Right.
The back to back.
And then last night, he puts up a 50 burger, and like you're saying, he had 50 points, and it's like he's mad, we're mad.
Yes. But he scored 50, and even some
in like 3.5 quarters.
But Madison Square Garden, it was like the game was in the balance. This was this sad,
down 15,
whimpering 50 to get them back within 13. You're like, oh my god! Like there was never a moment where it was in the balance.
Since he's turned 30, he's had 6 50-point games.
Yep.
He's tied with Michael Jordan for most 50-point games after turning the age of 30, and Wilt's number 1 with 7. Jordan Curry now has 6. I mean, that's
Wilt only had 7?
That is kind of
after the age of 30. After the age of 30.
Because he averaged 50 a night.
After the age of 30.
Exactly.
After the age of 30.
Kind of feels
over
like
48 minutes.
And doesn't it?
Yeah,
which
we
is
love
the
this.
most
We love that.
That's insane.
You know.
No,
but I mean,
after turning 30, they've had
That's
the most
crazy.
50-point games.
And don't you think he'll get the record? Because looking at the way this team plays right now, I feel like there's more 50-point games.
He
coming.
might. It's like he took 28 shots yesterday. It's like, well, you should have took 38.
And he barely goes to the free throw line, which is the other.
Did he go 9 times yesterday? 9 for 9 yesterday.
I mean, Paul Pierce averaged like 12 for his career. But did he score 48 or 50 against Toronto in the finals? What was that?
Oh, he scored, I want to say 47, 48.
47, okay.
I want to say
thought
47.
it was 50. I was wrong.
When he was basically playing
By
with
himself.
Quinn Cook,
Yes.
Alfonso McKinney, Jordan Bell. Yeah, I mean, he's incredible. And I feel like we take it for granted at times. We do. And it's going to be gone soon. Maybe 2 years, 3 years. But it's going to go away. And we're going to be like, did we really appreciate what he did on a night-to-night basis? And I think we do.
I think we do.
Yeah,
I think we do.
And you have to.
You have to appreciate it, but right now at 6 and 9, it's hard to not look at the forest through the trees when you have all these other things, and you have 7 or 8 other issues that forget being a championship team. Mm-hmm. How about being a decent team?
Thank you.
How about being a team that you could think about like buying playoff tickets to go see? Because right now, this team feels like the 76ers with Allen Iverson.
Dude,
you got Aaron McKee, you got Matt Geiger,
Eric Snow,
George Lynch.
I mean, that is how this team feels. This team doesn't feel like a team with multiple Hall of Famers. And we can talk about the fix, and we will. And by the way, you don't have just one roster spot. You have 2 roster spots. He doesn't play.
I know.
Andre Iguodala, he needs to be immediately cut. Get him in a suit. He looks really good dressed up. That roster spot is being wasted. So you've got a 13-man roster, but no, you have 12 because Wiseman can't play. But no, you have 11 because Kuminga can't play. So now you're talking about like an 11-man team, of which 6 of those guys are largely unplayable.
Moody's only playing in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
He's going.
Right?
He's Michael Green. Oh, well, he's not playable. Patrick Baldwin Jr. Oh, well, he's not ready. The vibe. The vibe of this team is off. And I don't know if it's because of what happened in training camp or whether or not it's because of the 9 losses. But
it's a lot.
Just contrast that with Sacramento right now. And I get it. Sacramento hasn't gone to the playoffs
but they're feeling great.
But, man, when I'm watching them.
Pro sports.
Dude,
That's crazy.
Yes.
They're a fun watch, dude. And I'm watching them blow out the Brooklyn Nets on national TV. And I'm thinking about KC and D'Lo and the fun they're having and Fox buying in and the way they're moving the ball. And I'm like, damn. That's the Warriors. That's what the Warriors have done.
This is going to be one of the questions for Ramona because it doesn't get a lot of expansion within the article, but direct quote from the article. Green apologized to Poole and the team and has returned to the court in fine form, but the issues underlying the conflict are still present. Poole and 27-year-old swingman Wiggins are the future of the franchise. The only question is, how clean the handoff to them will be.
That's what a way to put it.
Wow.
Now, there's not a lot of expansion about that topic in the article, so I really want to ask her what the issues underlying the conflict are still present. I'd love to hear more about that.
What time is she on?
10 o'clock.
Nice.
10 o'clock.
That's a good get.
Yeah.
The Iggy thing. So he's wearing a purple or pink sweatsuit the other day. My wife does not like Iguodala on the bench. She's like, he doesn't play. He's a coach. Why is he wearing street clothes? Why are they paying him to play as a player? She wants the team to win. She likes Iggy, right? But like, she's like, he's taking up a spot. Either you're a player or you're a coach. And like, she's triggered every time the camera goes to him and he's sitting there and he's got the whole outfit and everything. She's like, why doesn't he just put on the coach's gear? And I thought that there was no other person besides you and me that felt that way. Yeah. And then my wife stepped in.
Mark and I mean, in the year plus we've had the show together, I wouldn't even say the man's name for a long stretch of time because not only what he did to Memphis, where
he just didn't show up.
I'm not showing up to Memphis, but just the amount of arrogance, and I'm not trying to be
he was
negative.
hanging out in Alameda.
Guy's a Hall of Famer, and I've seen him on many golf courses, and I've seen him around. And I don't begrudge him for getting his. What I have a problem with is the fact that this team needs people. Yeah. They need playable bodies.
I agree.
He is a guy who's taken up a roster spot. They have an empty roster spot. And as we mentioned, there's 2 or 3 guys who are unplayable. So now we got a 9-man rotation, including a young player who just got a bag who doesn't want to shoot unless he starts, a starter who's trying to shoot his way back into form, even though he's having one of the 4 worst shooting seasons in the association. And you've got at the top of the whole thing a guy having an unbelievably singular, dominant season going to waste.
I wonder how much of the youngsters soak up whatever Andre Iguodala is telling them or talking about. Because if I'm a youngster, I never played in the NBA, obviously, but if a guy's not playing and he's in street clothes all the time and he's not playing, at some point I would think that the message would just become deaf to it. It'd just be, all right, it's going through one ear, going out the other. I'm not really listening to him. And I wonder if Kuminga and Moody and Wiseman or some of the youngsters just sitting there thinking like, man, you're not even playing, dude. I want to play.
Giannis said that he didn't even know Jason Kidd played in the NBA when he first got there. And it was like, I had to Google who he was. And I was like, oh my God, that's who Jason Kidd is? So yes, to your point, I don't... Are there some that are students of the game? Right. Yes. But I'm sure there are many more that could give a rip.
Isn't it wild? June was 5 months ago.
That's the thing. You've been saying this, and it's been resonating.
I keep thinking back to other, and it's so hard to do a comp for the Warriors. It's so hard. I mean, sure, there have been dynasties in sports, but I think often whenever things sort of end, and I'm not saying like that the end is here, the end is near, I'll say that, but like when it happens in sports, it happens fast. Tom Brady, for instance, has been this outlier for the last 5 years. We keep waiting for the time that he's going to finally look old. And even this year, I was like, I think it's now. And then the minute I said that, he goes on a 45-second drive to beat the Rams, goes to Germany and beats the Seahawks. And you're like, oh, gosh, he's going to do it again, isn't he? So I think we've learned.
And he looks 25 years old.
Right, a lot of times, it's just what you hit a wall.
Peyton.
It was 5 months ago.
So I'm looking.
5 months ago, there was confetti.
So to your point, Mark, you got this graphic. And it's a list of the worst records by defending champs through 15 games. Number one's the Bulls in 98, 99. But we all know Jerry Krause.
Everyone was
last dance. Last dance. Boston Celtics 69-70. Dibs doesn't even remember that team.
I was a toddler.
I was there.
Steiny's favorite team. Him in red.
The 02-03 Lakers started off 5-10. They didn't win the championship. The Warriors are fourth on that list, starting 6-9. And then the 06-07 Heat. After they beat the Mavericks in 6 games, they got blown out on ring night by the Chicago Bulls. That was Shaq Wade.
Yeah. But he was coming back from an injury of some sort.
But they won the championship after beating the Mavericks in 6.
Yes,
he played that first. Yeah, he played that first game. They got blown out by Chicago by like 30 on ring night.
Okay,
Darrell's on that team, and we were discussing this last night on the post-game show, and they ended up getting swept in the first round. But they won 44 games that year, and they just were not the same. Something was just off on that team. Maybe they got older overnight, like Gary Payton, like Shaq. He had to disconnect with Pat Riley or whatnot.
I know Alonzo was coming off the bench in the finals before that.
Yeah, and he was probably done at that point. So, but they're in They're in company with some teams from like the 40s and 50s.
Well,
so
and I'm sure there were contexts.
It's not common,
right?
To your point.
And one of the contextual pieces of this is they broke the record last night for the worst road start ever for a former champion, for a defending champion. No one has ever lost their first 8 games on the road after that has happened. So
they're a game away from having the worst start in franchise history, or tying for the worst start in franchise history.
Yeah. So
what is that? Is that
0-9? That's the Run TMC team, 89-90.
That's the worst road start.
That's the worst road start.
Not
0-9.
the team that won 19.
No. Well, that's kind of why it's fascinating to me when people talk about tweaks. Oh, we're going to send Wiseman down and we'll put JaMychal Green in. And it's like, you got to understand, there are 100 reasons, and this is intensely different than 5 months ago. It's not a little different.
When did it change?
It's not, like, I love it when people are like, man, GP2. Like, you really...
Like he's going to fix
Are
all.
you having breakfast and you thought if GP2 was on this team that they would be 9-4? Like, you... Come on.
I know.
There is a lot going on.
So then let me ask you guys this, because we've been kind of kicking this around this morning, and Bonte brought it up. Like, do you owe it to the guys to ride the year out, or is it so dramatic that you got to make an in-season, like a big move?
What do you think?
I am in the camp of, guys, this is going in the wrong direction so quick. I'm making a big-time move because I'm going to go to Steph Curry and I'm going to sit down like, look, you know what we know. This thing's not going to last forever. What do you want to do? And if he's on board with it, I make 2 moves simultaneously. I trade Clay and Dre in separate deals the very same night, and I rip the Band-Aid off immediately. And I don't even know if that helps you get better.
See, that's my thing. It doesn't help you get better.
What deals are there?
I'm not going to give you the specific, but my thing is right now the vibe is so bad and so off. I think you just got to... We just got to do a full pivot.
4 titles in 8 years, you got to ride it out. And at the same time, if I'm Joe Lacob, and if I believe in the future of the team, and he obviously does because he was the one who wanted to draft James Wiseman, and you've got a young core that they might be good, they might not be, but if you trade them, you'll never find out. You got to ride this out. And if you get to a point where it hasn't turned around, I think you make other moves. I don't know if it's a tweak, but you have a couple of roster spots that you can use to bring in vet min guys off the street. You can do other things. If you trade Clay, it's a full-on mutiny. And if you trade Draymond Green, you're not going to win.
What do you mean by mutiny?
The fan base. The fan base.
That would be one of the more heart-wrenching, I guess, gut-wrenching, heartbreaking, heart-aching, devastating trades in Bay Area sports.
It's worse than trading Joe Montana because you had Steve Young.
Yeah. What do you think, Bonte? What do you think?
I floated this out. We floated this out a few Mondays ago. That if they are hovering around 500, or if they're 3 games under 500 by mid-January, and Lacob has said it, Bob Myers said it on Steiny and Guru's show a couple weeks ago, we believe we are a contending team for a championship. We believe we can win number 5. Joe Lacob is paying the tax. We know the money he's paying to pay for this basketball. He ain't paying for a 6-19. I guarantee you that.
Well, and they need the $20-something million of revenue for each game in the playoffs to be able to afford the team moving forward.
If you're around 500 mid-January, you may have to move off some guys.
Okay.
You may have to make it happen.
I hate to have this be the follow-up question. What if you're not hovering around 500?
What if you are 10 games over 500?
What if you're 15 games under 500?
See, that's what I worry about.
Then...
I mean, it's on the table, right?
Yeah,
like you're watching these games.
Yeah, I don't think you can ride this out if you're 15 games under 500. You got to start to think about the future.
But when do you, see, to me, Christmas, I'm looking at, Christmas, it might be too late. Like, they might just be, 8-9 games under. Maybe I'm being too dramatic.
It could be a problem. I don't know. I don't think they'll be that. I don't think they'll be 15 games under 500 because they're still a really good home team. At home, they're one of the best teams in the NBA. They win at Chase Center. So if you could stay afloat there, and you could just piece together a couple road games here and there. Win a game on the road.
If they are that far below, there's no fix that can turn this around. So to me, at that point, you're just, you could trade Draymond so as to not have him opt in next year. Mm-hmm. But at that point, if you're 10 below in early January heading to the trade deadline, there's no trade fix that can turn you around to the point where you can still win.
There may be, though. There may be. I'm looking at the Brooklyn Nets.
I'm going to add real quick, they're a good home team, and they are. Your record is what your record is, and you get who you get on the schedule. But
defensive rating 5th at home.
If you look at these teams that have been at Chase Center, the first 7 teams that have been at Chase Center, I know you like Cleveland, and we know Denver's good. They grinded it out against Cleveland, and they lost to Denver. The other 5 wins are junk wins.
Well, I wouldn't call Sacramento a junk win. I wouldn't call that. I want to put some respect.
If that's a quality win, you're not a very good team.
Yeah, right now, Sacramento.
Yes, I agree with that. No,
if you're a good team, you don't look at a Sacramento win and that was a good gutsy win.
No doubt.
If that's not a junk win, you are nobody, my dude.
That's 2 of your 6. You've also got Miami, San Antonio. You got the Lakers.
Yeah, it's not good.
I mean, that's who you beat.
It's not good.
That's who you beat.
Where are you at now on your worry meter? Because I finally got you up to a 2, and then you surged to a 2.2.
Yep.
Now 0-8 on the road. Where are you at, Mark?
Back down to 0.
There you go.
I'll tell you why.
Okay, that's a tease.
That's a great tease.
Wow.
That's a great tease.
Yeah, I'm at about a 10.5.
But here's the thing.
I was at a 6.5 earlier in the week. I'm still right there.
I think this is unfixable.
I'm at a 4.
With the current roster.
I'm at a 4 because they're not defending at a high level. Young teams with fresh legs are just destroying them. I'm at a 4. I never got above a 5.5 last year, but I'm at a 4 right now.
Early 4.
Slightly concerned.
Mark's
Early
down
4.
to a 0.
Early 4.
I cannot wait to hear this explanation.
You said something, though. I know we got to leave in a second. You said if the Warriors...
Hang out. Yeah, no one's trying to
Thanks for staying, Monte.
Yeah, no problem.
It means a
no
lot,
problem.
yeah.
I do want to get at on Ramona. Hey, Ramona, how you doing? Long time no talk.
Talk to Love.
Long time no talk. Hey, we got Scooter Berry today. Thanks to Shasky. We got Slater. Thanks to
ABC. Always be contenting.
You brought up 15 games under 500. What do you do? You have to do what you did in 2019 during the pandemic season. You pivoted off of D'Lo, knowing that, hey, this may not work. Let's go get some assets. They got an asset in Jonathan Kuminga, and they got an asset in Andrew Wiggins to become one of the best two-way players. You may have to do the same with Draymond Green. Or Klay Thompson. Hell, I don't even know who will want Klay Thompson.
What would LeBron
you may have
do
to
if
get
he
a
was
head
Curry?
start. Huh?
I'm out of curiosity. What would LeBron do if he was Curry?
He'd probably buy a pickleball team.
Oh, LeBron James would cut everything.
Right?
LeBron James would throw it. First, he'd throw everybody under the bus.
He'd drop an episode. That's what he would do.
Speaking of episodes, no Draymond Green podcast yet.
Interesting, isn't it? Interesting, right?
Cowherd's not happy.
They didn't suspend him, but they silenced him.
What's coming up on the game? Sponsored by ChooseChange.org and Fremont Bank, full service banking, no compromises. Willard and Dibs. We're on the Shelburne at 10 o'clock, and Willard's at a 0 on the panic meter. Why is Willard at a 0? Stick around and find out.